what specifically happened with Lin, Vincent Skullman, and Just a Robot was Vincent Skullman made a video criticizing Just a Robot. And Just a Robot had this particular occurrence where there was a back and forth with Just a Robot and Harley TBS on the internet. And Just a Robot kind of said something controversial to where people were thinking uh, that Just a Robot was making the implication that Harley TBS was an EDP 445, or he was, I can't remember the specifics, but there was a cupcake comment that came from Just a Robot. Um, and people were criticizing Just a Robot for it. Now, Vincent Skullman made his video, and then after that, Lin made their video in the same takes as Vincent Skullman. Just a Robot did not like what Vincent Skullman was saying. And the Vincent Skullman and Just a Robot had a meeting of the minds, right? And they came to the conclusion of, yeah, okay, my takes were a little bit crazy. I will take down the video, right? Then, after this happened, after the meeting of the minds happened, Lin puts out a video, and it's still out there, about Just a Robot. And Lin makes her takes on this, right? And then after the video gets released, Just a Robot sees the video is released and messages. He messages Vincent Skullman and says, "Hey, Lin put out the same video as you. Could you talk to her for me?" Right? And he specifically, Just a Robot didn't ask for Lin to take down the video, or didn't put any kind of pressure for Lin to take down her video. But Vincent Skullman supposedly, and this is what Lio and Lin would like you to believe. Per them, they had the idea that Vincent Skullman was kind of drama mongering or drama farming and stirring the pot, and purposefully made it look like, to where Vincent was telling Lin, "Hey, take down the video. Just a Robot says take down the video," and is kind of like pressuring it. Lin took it to Lio, and then Lio completely freaked out. And Lio's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God, guys." Or, "Oh my God, Vincent, you're lying to a minor." And it's like, bro, Lio, you're the world's biggest liar.
One thing I don't do, and it's lie.
You fucking lie. You lie a lot. You liar. You're a liar. You're a liar, Lio. And I think it's funny. I think it's super hilarious that while this is happening, the Rosa Ray, what I'm going to assume is that the Rosa Ray Ramsey call already took place, or this was possibly happening during the time the Rosa Ray Ramsey call took place. But I think it's super hilarious that Lio Convoy is morally grandstanding over lying to a minor when he had his occurrence with Rosa Ray Ramsey, of course, and his occurrence with Jax, where Lio decided to call the school of Jax and say, "Oh my God, this kid could possibly shoot up a school," right? So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to watch the call first that took place in the Senate between Lin, Just a Robot, Lio Convoy, and Vincent. Okay, and then we'll go from there. I want to outline this call first before we go into what Vincent says and how Vincent is saying his story today. Okay, guys. Pudgy, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Pudgy says, "Lio, I don't lie. Stop the cap." Totally stop the cap. Okay, let's get going.
Lin, Jar, and Vincent, you can still talk, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and lay out some things here real quick, and then we're going to get into the meat of it because my personal upset towards you right now. This isn't
Let me just make sure the pause button is correct. Okay, guys.
really about you
Okay.
and me, but I will lay it out real quick. When you decided to take shots at a 15-year-old, I told you not to, and then you doubled down on it, and I told you I wanted to talk to you. Your response to being told that I want to talk to you
Also, nothing is going to appear on the screen, so we're just going to leave it at that.
was to avoid me, shoot me some goofy Twitter message instead of hopping in call and talking to me. Vincent, do you think I'm unreasonable?
No.
Okay, cool. We'll address that maybe some other time. But do you know the main reason why I decided to bring you in here today?
Because it was brought to your attention that I lied to Lin Lin about what Jar had said to me.
Hi, Mr. Gamer. Okay, you guys are having a hard time hearing. So let me make sure it's turned up. I will turn it up on the volume master. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Okay. You know, maybe while we listen to this audio, we like watch a video. I don't know. Stardust likes to do like these ADHD videos, but we're not going to do it. Okay.
Oh, you were able to figure that out.
Yes,
Who told you?
you told me.
Good. Track here. So the reason why Lynn was allowed in here,
No, I didn't see the picture. I haven't checked Twitter.
despite being 17, is because Lin has a right to know and to confront you. I want to know, why did you objectively lie to Lin?
I flat out lied to Lin Lin because I was supposed to relay a message from Jar to them and completely misunderstood what was meant to be passed over to Lin Lin due to my own incompetence.
Here's the thing. Maybe I could buy incompetence in this case if I
Cobalt Sprout, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. You're fine, Jordan. I just haven't checked Twitter. It's okay. You're totally fine.
didn't have the DMs, if I didn't read everything Jar said to you, said in response. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read to the chat what Jar said to you. Jar says, seems to me like Lin is now doing what you're doing, LOL. You said, I'm assuming you're going to try to make contact to talk about this. Doesn't sound like it'll be too successful since Lin doesn't want to associate
You know what? Lio is a slow talker. I'm going to speed this up. Okay, guys? Sorry.
with you anyway, but there could be a place for it. Jar talks about how Lin says, I mean, the video isn't go so well. Please tell them for me that you had a talk with me and that you now understand the
Cathonic, thank you for super chatting. I really appreciate it. Have a good stream, Leah. Thank you, Cathonic. You are the best. Cathonic is the homie. Kobe O for the $4.99. You have decided to take shots at a 15-year-old, says the man who tried to ruin a 15-year-old's life by lying that the 15-year-old was a school shooter. So true. So true, Kobe. It's interesting how hypocritical Lio really is.
context of what went down. Would you do that for me? You said, I'll speak to them, but I would rather stay out of it as much as I can. Keep pinning that. We're coming back to it. I don't want to get mixed up in affairs which could be solved between the two of you. Second pin. Says, I understand. Just tell them about our call, and that's it. If they are getting this much hate already, I don't want to know what will happen next. They got it. Just a Robot says, thank you. They are young, and I want to handle this privately. I'd rather not send them mountains of hate that they aren't able to handle. You say, that's understandable. Don't want Lin stressing over something that can be avoided. And here's what you said immediately to Lin. I don't know how to start this message, but Jar came to me talking about your video and wanted me to convince you to take it down. How did you misconstrue Jar's statement of, hey, can you tell her I want to talk and vouch for the ability to talk to me? How did you take that and decide to run with saying that Jar wants to convince her to take it down?
So at surface level, I take this as, okay, you know, it does read that way. So I don't disagree with Lio right here. So yeah, I have no takes. I don't disagree with Lio right here. This was definitely a misunderstanding though. And Lio has a tendency, Lio and company, they have a tendency to like, when they see something or when they see something and they feel like something is wrong as they are seeing it, they have a tendency to jump onto or jump to conclusions, and it's like really outrageous conclusions. Like it's like further than like freaking theory crafting. It's crazy the way that these people theory craft. I, I'm going to tell you the way that the Supreme Court theory crafted by having because Nicholas Diorio joined the Supreme Court like one night, right? They fucking seethed on Nicholas Diorio's presence in that Discord for days, and they were like, "Oh my god, what is Nick doing here?" Like they have a tendency to jump to conclusions. It's insane. Lio does the same thing. So it's like Lio is like the leader of jumping to conclusions, but Lio also has an army of losers that also follow him, and they also jump to conclusions as well.
Because I took my conversation with Jar too literally in the context of referring that message to Linlin, as I took my original video down about what had happened between Harley TBS and Just a Robot over Twitter, and was wrong in that regard as well.
Can you show me where in Jar's message he even alluded to the idea of Linlin taken down, or even was?
No, I cannot, because it is not stated.
Lio's mic is cutting out too. I think it's possibly because his noise gate was like that, but whatever. We'll just work through it.
He said to relay what was talked about in the call that we had, but it just makes me think he hasn't seen.
I wouldn't unsubscribe to Just a Robot or unfollow him. He's pretty cool. I talked to Just a Robot. I like him. He doesn't seem that bad. So if you still want to be cool with Just a Robot, by all means go ahead and be cool. Okay?
In the video, considering you covered more than just the Twitter stuff. Even then, you touched on stuff which I hadn't in my original breakdown of the events.
No, you're okay, Pudgy. I just wanted to say, guys, I don't have issues with Just a Robot. I like Just a Robot. You're totally cool. The only person that I have an issue with in this call is Lio. That's it. And possibly Linlin. Okay?
So it feels pointless to go over the context he gave me about myself and Harley. The screenshots of their DMs are collected in a document, which I can go over if wanted. Real quick question, did Jar give you clearance to share that link with anybody?
No, he did not.
Then is it yours to share?
No.
Especially to a literal child that has no involvement in that?
No.
No. Regardless, Jar said they're worried about the, quote, hate which you would receive, but this may be just an attempt to pressuring you into dropping the video, considering this is what he sent me regarding the hate you are currently receiving, which is just a screenshot of the likes and dislikes. That, and it sounds like he will make a video / public response if both of you don't come to agreement, and you take a snippet of your conversation.
I also do think it's hilarious that like Lio would like us to believe that he's super busy, guys. He has this life, right? Super busy, has 2 jobs. Oh my god, he's so important, right? He has time to yell at people in Discord. He's like, it's like hours and hours of him yelling at people in Discord. Like earlier today, I was going over a video that was sent to me, and in this video, Lio is yelling at somebody while he's driving. Literally driving and yelling on Discord. Wow, Lio. That, like, great. That's insane. Literally insane. Like, Texas roads are crazy. I-35 is crazy, but you're yelling in a Discord call and driving. That is like the very fucking definition of terminally online. That is, if you look up the word terminally online, Lio Convoy's picture is right there, because that dude is in Discord 24/7, and it's insane. It is crazy. But let's keep for that's going to be for another stream. We'll go over it, but yeah. Let's keep going.
Conversation where Jar just talks about how he wants to settle it privately and doesn't want a mountain of hate sent to Linlin. And then you at the bottom had the audacity to say, I'm just telling you what he told me. I have no qualms with the video, which if you did or not, I don't care. Considering what you were able to pick over and tear apart, the be-all, end-all is still up in the air since not even a day has passed, so maybe things will cool down with Jar, but it sounds like he's worried you'll get more hate if he responds in whatever manner he does. That's what I gathered at least. Jar? Jar?
Yes.
Did I or did I not tell you to not make a video response to Linlin?
I believe you did.
I told you
Tell
not
me
to.
not to make a video.
Correct. At no point in that did Jar say he was going to make a video on Linlin, or strong-arm Linlin, or any of that. That is all a creation of your doing. And you didn't even have the temerity to send Linlin the full DM context. So when we finally got in call to hash this out like adults, the first thing we had to trip over was the fact that Linlin was lied to. So I want to know.
Oh my God, Linlin was lied to. What are we gonna do?
The real reason why this happened, because this isn't you misconstruing the text. Like, I get it. Jar types like a third grader with broken fingers, but that's not this in this case. This is you extrapolating something that literally wasn't there, and I want to know why.
I miss it when I was a 5th grader with broken fingers.
Sorry, I'm just collecting my words.
I hope you do. Because how old are you?
20.
This is unacceptable behavior from you.
So I think that's a tell-all right there. I think it's super hilarious that Vincent is 20 years old at the time of this call. Lio thinks it's ridiculous to even lie to Linlin, the minor, who was 17 at the time, right? Sorry, guys, I have to sit up. Lio thinks it's ridiculous to lie to Linlin, a minor, so 20 years old, lying to a 17-year-old over like a minuscule fucking drama, right? Like YouTube drama. But it's okay for Miss Zizi, the 23-year-old, to ask for thigh pictures of a 17-year-old. And Lio doesn't bat an eye when it comes to that. And it's okay for Peaches in their, I think they were 19 at the time, having the interactions that they had in the FCK server. So it's like, interesting, Lio. In fact, you do jump on people for less. You're more than happy to jump on people for less, but you don't say a word when it comes to the FCK server. And I think it's very interesting that you guys just ignore it or make excuses.
Indeed.
And you know, I'd be a little bit more lenient. As much as I hate lies, I'd be a little more lenient if you were spreading this to some other random adult. You did that to a kid. But before any of you idiots in the Peanuts gallery take that and try to think that I'm making some sort of egregious accusation towards Vincent, no. My point is, you have to be honest about things. So let me go ahead and paint you a hypothetical picture here.
You have to be honest about things, guys.
One thing I don't do it is lie.
Right. Okay. Yeah, let's be honest.
Since you struggle with three-dimensional thinking. What if Linlin decided to not have a conversation with Jar, and instead took your messages and made a short video on it, accusing Jar of trying to silence them by putting pressure on them based on what you literally communicated to them? Do you understand how badly that could have spiraled out of control?
Yes, I'm aware it could have caused a lot of unnecessary drama and stress and pain for plenty of people.
Yeah, now, Jar is a big boy. If Jar gets random hate, Jar can handle it. But if Linlin puts out a video that has misinformation because of the nonsense, that's on you.
He makes it sound like Jar's audience is so intimidating. Like, bro, yeah, Jar, Just a Robot, has a really big audience, but bro, there have been times where I have put out a video. Actually, one of my Savannah Marie videos, I put out a video on Savannah Marie, and I had like a very controversial take in that video, right? And I specifically tagged the anti-MLM community, and I think her audience caught wind of it, right? And I don't know if it's her audience, but I received a ton of flack for the video that I put out, right? I'm a big girl. I can handle it. If Linlin, who is 17 at the time, probably shouldn't be putting out videos, but okay, yeah, we'll just ignore that. 17 at the time, putting out videos on YouTube, and gets criticized by somebody that has a bigger audience. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck how old Linlin is. It is on them if they get criticized for it. I don't care. You are a big girl. You uploaded the YouTube video. Stop using Just a Robot's audience as an intimidation factor, okay? Because that's not how that works, okay? If you want to attack a bigger creator, you better expect that bigger creator's audience to come after you. It's like this shit with Mudahar and Keffels right now. Right now, what do we see on Twitter? We see the commentary community battling with Keffel's community. These are big audiences. Bruh, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's just how it happens. Okay? If Lin can't understand the concept that people are going to criticize her, then I don't know what to tell you. If Lio can't understand that concert or that concept, I don't know what to tell him either because he's a grown ass adult. And the fact that he's using Just a Robot's audience as like an intimidation factor and be like, "Oh my god, imagine what would have happened if Lin put out a video on Just a Robot? She would have gotten attacked." It's so dumb. So stupid.
Yes, it is.
I want to know the real reason why.
Okay, so it's like a few seconds of silence. I'm going to fast forward, okay, guys, because this Vincent is very quiet. Still silent.
And for the record, I don't want to be here all night. I'm quite done this week doing 3-hour calls over stuff. So while I will be patient and let you gather your thoughts, because I know you're nervous right now, you got pulled into Senate, you got a bunch of people looking at you, 20 years old, you are a content creator, you put your thoughts out for everyone to see, I expect you to conduct yourself like an adult.
Wow. It's interesting that you say that, Lio, because you don't apply that same rule to Lin. You only apply it to Vincent, but not Lin.
All right.
Yeah, 3-hour calls. Theora. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Why did you lie about it?
I ended up lying about the message from Jar to Lin because
Oh my god. Dead air. Dead air. Come on. Hello. Dead air. Holy-
Bullshit.
I hate
Thank
that.
you, Ojar.
His mic keeps cutting too. What
I
a
appreciate
loser. Loser.
I lied because
Caesar says, do you have Vincent's video response, Leah? Because it gives more context. Lio cut out. Yes. We'll go over that after this call, okay? I promise you. Hi, the almighty Dew Hansen.
Not me.
Oh my god. I hate that his
I lied
microphone cuts
because
out.
I was bitter. I lied because I was bitter over the fact that I had done such things and then I'd been called out on it and then I had Jar confront me and it was my own undoing, but there's no buts. And I thought it was applicable to lie because there was some sort of
Oh, Pans, I'm more than happy to help you. Thank you, Pans. I really appreciate that. Pan says Leah's the only one helping me keep up to date with all this mess. Thank you. I try sometimes. You know, a great creator to follow is Stardust. She's also very thorough. And Beckett of Crabs. They are both thorough as well.
air of potentially getting away with it, which in hindsight is ridiculous considering I'm surrounded by commentary YouTubers.
That's not wise. A point, I think. You got upset. Or called you out. And the truth of the matter is he did it politely.
Mhm.
It's amazing to me because I asked to talk to you and you ducked me. Should have known better then. But then you turn around and because you're bitter at Jar for what, having a civil conversation with you and asking you to take down a video that he felt had misinformation about a situation you didn't understand, you turn around and you lie to a child? And you offer this kid information that is not yours to give?
Yes, I did.
Raven Greenwald says, "Why is the community even encouraging a minor to be in it when they're handling predators and have had predators in the community? Isn't that clearly a risk? Also, why can't this be handled privately?" I don't know why it was handled in Senate. I guess Lio just felt the need to yell at this guy in Senate. And yes, at the time, Lin was 17. Lin is now 18 years old. And I think it's very hilarious that Lio says that he doesn't invite minors into the Senate because the Senate is like an 18 plus Discord server. At the time, it's no longer there anymore. But then Lin gets invited for this confrontation. So it's like, yeah, I think you were pretty relaxed on that rule. I think you made exceptions to that rule when you shouldn't have. Oh my God.
Jar, 20, Taylor. He's 20. Jar, real quick, that link that Vincent was referring to, what did I tell you about that link?
Which link?
The link to your DMs. Remember what I told you shouldn't do?
I can't. I don't.
Okay. I told you need to stop sharing it around with people. This is why I said to stop doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hold on, let me correct the chat since they're not paying attention. Vincent isn't beefing with Lin. Vincent lied to Lin.
Lio, you lied too.
My point is that it's ridiculous. Number one, to lie about something that can be caught out so easily. And number two, to lie to a child about it. And while
Lio, oh my God, he could literally follow his advice right now because sometimes, we've caught Lio as we're covering Lio Convoy. We've caught Lio in silly little lies, silly dumb lies. And I've always said, if you're going to lie, the very least that Lio could do is be good at it, and he's not good at it. He is bad at lying. He's horrible. Bad.
you two are close in age,
Deep Sea Monster says Lio wants to say he's not the face of the ACC, but he's going around telling people when and when not to make videos in ACC. Yeah, it's not only that. I find out that while I'm criticizing Lin last week, Endo is DMing Omnia, and in these DMs with Omnia, Endo is saying that somebody in Senate told Endo not to come out with their story about their groomer because Lio was going to cover it, or they were going to cover it first. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. You are so dead set. Guys, you're so dead set on making us believe that you want to catch the predators, yet you're holding on to evidence and not sharing it with other creators to call this person out, to call out the said predator. It makes it looks like to me that you guys are very content brained and you would rather push out your fucking content than actually get justice for these people. So yeah, you make a good point. Pudgy with the 4. I'm so sorry I missed that super chat. Pudgy with the 2. Hey Lio, say cheese in 4K. Totally. Caught in 4K. Okay, let's keep going.
I still don't see the point. I find it manipulative.
Oh my God,
Like I
why?
said, this could have spiraled. And it could have gotten real ugly. And you would have been the one that paid the price for that.
It couldn't have spiraled. And Lin is a YouTube creator. She should know, because you're putting out videos and you're attacking a bigger audience, that person's audience might come and attack you. Just an FYI. You got to deal with it. You got to roll with the punches. You got to get a backbone. I'm sorry. Flotzilla says Lio backpedaled so much in the Stardust interview and not giving accurate information for his stories. I completely agree. He straight up lied to Stardust. Yeah. Hey, Darth.
Would have been Lin and Jar. Or Lin, then Jar. Because while we're trying to correct it in one way or another, Jar's fan base tends to be real stupid with people Jar has beef with. That's why Jar was trying to avoid any sort of public problem here. He's trying to be conscious of that. Jar had a civil conversation with you, and before you try to lie to me, yes, I did hear it. I did listen to it. Critique can be made, absolutely. But you don't sit there and do some scheming nonsense because you think you're going to get away with it because you're bitter about a civil conversation. This is ridiculous. Good Lord. Lin, you said you wanted to say something after he answered, so go ahead.
All right, thank you, Lio. So basically, after hearing that, especially
Again, remember, Lin is 17 at the time in Senate.
I've certainly got a few questions here. First of all, is when
So Lio's actively breaking his own rule.
we were introducing this part of the conversation and when you were making it apparent to Laya what he was talking about, you acted as if you had misconstrued what Jar had told you, only to then immediately afterwards act as if you seemed to know that what you were doing was wrong before Lio
Welcome back.
had to explain why what you did was wrong or anything like that. So if you know that your actions were wrong, then why did you immediately pull the incompetency card first thing?
God, Linlin sounds like discount doodle diapers. So they both use voice changers. Yes, they both. I don't understand it. I was being nice to Linlin that one day when I was criticizing her. I don't understand the voice changers. Doodle Tones does it. Linlin does it. Guys, you've been using voice changers for years. Please graduate. Please actually use your voice. It'd be great. Yeah. Hey, Sliggins. Dude, Joe, Mr.
And for the
B.
record, Taylor, quote unquote, that makes a valid point. I'm looking at this primarily from an American viewpoint, where these two being closer to age is less of an issue, or more of an issue rather. Whereas apparently in Britain, their ages are a little more, next to each other, for lack of a better word. So I'm focusing on the fact that
I'm just saying, if I work with people who are 17 now,
Hey, Squatchin. Sorry, Squatchin. I didn't say hi to you earlier. Sorry. Love you, Squatchin.
like, I think it's unfair to literally call Linlin a child in comparison to 20-year-old when there's a 3-year difference and they both can work in the same places. Like,
fair. I'll take it under
Call it
advisement. I'll take it under advisement. Okay, so let's remove the child aspect. Lied to a trusted you. So please continue. Apologize.
Oh my God. Like, fix your noise gate. You fucking suck, Lio. Your audio quality sucks, dude. Like, oh my God. What a boomer.
That's right.
Wait, he's not even a boomer because we're the same age. I'm 34. He's 38. So, God. There's literally no excuse for him. He can't have the boomer excuse. He's not a boomer. Ah. Damn. I guess he's just dumb.
Well, it's no worry, given how it doesn't seem that that question's going to receive an answer by the looks of things. So, beyond that, you say that the reason why you were in this situation and why you ended up doing what you did was because you were bitter about a civil conversation, which, first of all...
Yeah, late millennial, close to Gen Xers, yeah.
We'll set aside how immature of you that is, first of all. But I'll just say, one thing I would like to know is why is it that you would seemingly try to attempt to...
Lio sniffs markers. Joe Mr. B says Lio sniffs markers that are not scented. So it's probably... That's why he's having audio issues, because he sniffs the markers, yeah.
Use me in order to get misinformation about Jar out? Is it, as a proportional response to that? Why is that proportionate to you?
Oh my
Because
God.
at the end of the day, the one thing I'm fed up with in my dealings with commentary people is being used as their optics tool above anything else.
Also, I hate it when they say commentary people. Ugh, it drives me insane. There are two different types of communities. There is commentary. So like Nicholas DiOrio, Bo Blacks, Augie RC, Xylee Gets Real, me, now recording, Doc on the Radio, Turkey Tom, Willie Mack. That's commentary. And then there's art commentary, which is Lio, Peaches, Harley TBS, Omnia, Kai. So there's two different commentary communities. Please stop saying commentary, because y'all are not commentary. You're art commentary. It's like it triggers my OCD when someone does that. I know like these calls took place before I even existed in commentary, but holy shit. Commentary and art commentary, two different things, okay, bruh?
Else. So quite frankly, if you could actually answer this, I'd appreciate it.
Before you do, I just want to make something clear, since I kind of hear you chattering. This call isn't to cancel you. It's not to remove your ability to talk to people or to spread around and tell people to avoid you. This is corrective action. That's all this is right now.
Yeah. So Pans, when I first started out with the art commentary community, I didn't realize that there was even an art commentary community. I just thought it was commentary too. So, and then when I started covering this, I was like, oh, wow, there's little subsections of commentary. And one of them is art commentary.
happy with you, tell by my voice, because I don't like liars and I don't like people with others as shields. I'm hoping by the end of this call you gain perspective, that I don't catch you pulling these stunts again. Next time I will not be leaving. So if you are terrified of being canceled over this, let that wash off you. Corrective, not destructive. Please answer Lynn.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
So it all comes down to the fact that
Holy shit. Why?
I had the opportunity to do so, and I took that chance, knowing full well I could stumble over myself and this could leak, and yet I still took it because of the fact I was bitter.
So because you saw the opportunity to lie to me and potentially get away with it, you took it instead of putting your morality above that.
Yes, I did.
I see. And beyond that, the final thing that I'd like to know, first of all, is that when we take a look at the messages that you had sent me, they had very little in terms of actually proving what you had said. As you had said that, or at the very least, like if I recall correctly, you had implied that the part where according to you, Jar would try to convince me to take my video down was something that you said in the call, and then had those messages that were shown after that. So, quite frankly, one thing that is starting to annoy me here is that given how there was absolutely nothing in terms of concrete evidence that you would provide.
Joe, Mr. B, for being a gym rat for 1 month. Thank you, Joe, for being a gym rat, first of all. It's being a gym rat is totally awesome. Joe says Lyo's the type of guy to float in the air when he smells a delicious pie. So true. So true. Especially a pecan pie. You know, pecan pies are it's a Texas, not just Texas, but it's a southern thing. Pecan pies are the best. I love them.
Me to even back up your lie.
I'm probably also the kind of person that would float in the air.
Why was it that you think I would buy it without second thought? Like, do you just think I'm stupid, mate?
No, I simply went off the fact that
Deep Sea Monster says, Leah, will you look into the Rebecca call as well? Rebecca herself confirms Neko was a mod and Lyo, and Endo knew this and still ran with Rosa being a horrible person. Yeah, I'll go over that as well. You know, maybe if we have time today, I'll go over it. I think what I'm going to do is not cover Endo today. Because I think I get the feeling that the Mutahar Keffel stuff is going to cover the second half of this live stream. I think what is going to happen is I'm going to cover Endo, and then I'll also cover the Rebecca call in a different live stream or in a video segment and release the video out later on this week. But keep your eyes peeled. Well, I think that's the plan.
if the
Pudgy for the 2. Lyo's the type of guy who argues a lot in Reddit daily. Yes, he has been known to argue. I think in the community that he used to exist before doing predator hunting, he used to go on Reddit a lot and argue with people. So that's actually very true, Pudgy.
It was a starting point.
And again, thank you for the 2. KHD cast for a 2 as well. Muda destroyed Keffels, LOL. I think so too. I think so too. But yeah, we'll go over that in a second.
I could hopefully pass that off. Just a smidge of information, and that'd be enough to fuel the fire. And it clearly panned it out a lot softer than it actually should have.
Then it actually should have. So you're saying that war with me and Jar is what you wanted?
Yes, I think it was the Thundercats group.
I meant that the fire went out faster than I expected it to. I didn't think it would go up into a big blaze. I thought it would be enough to cause some friction, but nothing of a big flame, because, as you said, you would hash it out in private.
You're lying to me. Because I didn't tell you that I would hash it out in private. Because if I have a look at my DMs with you, one sec. What's a shame? Yeah, I never said to you at all that I would hash things out with Jar in private. At that point, I didn't know if I wanted to talk to Jar or not at that point, because of the fact that, realistically, at that point in time, I thought that the difference in opinion was just too great for the conversation to really go anywhere productive. So, quite frankly, keep in mind here, you're literally in this call in the first place because you tried to lie to me. Don't respond to that by trying to lie further.
Linlin, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you you are the last person to fucking sit here and be like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, Vincent. You're lying. Your lies got you here in the first place in the call. Come on, bruh. Come on. You're crazy. You are crazy. Again, guys, thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate it.
I assumed it would be handled in private because that was how Jal wanted it to be. If I phrased it like you said, like I knew you were going to handle it in private, that's just bad on my part for implying that.
Well,
She so Timmy, you do make a good point right there. She's a child copying the adults around her. Yeah. Lio very much sets the tone within these calls and the Senate calls. And I've noticed it. He sets the tone in these Senate calls. I think it's specifically hilarious. He even it even gets to the point where sometimes Lio will yell at his mods and say, "Hey, if you're not joining in or not participating, get the fuck out." So yeah, and he'll start screaming at them too if they don't do anything.
given how it seems that
That's and what I just described was the Jibs call.
at this point these responses amount to a little more than word salad that doesn't really bring us anywhere further, I'll pass it back to Lio now because it seems like he's got something else that he wanted to say. So by all means, you got the floor.
Leah, what's your opinion on the Adept versus Sia thing? Is that the Database Productions and the Zavia or what's her name? Zavia? Zavera? I'm so bad with names. Zavia? Is that her name? I think her name is Zavia. I think that's what we're talking about. Maya, are you talking about that? What Kumo went over last night?
Well, back, Mossman.
Vincent, you text spoken before about responsibility.
Yes, we have.
So Milky Way says yes. So I'm going to assume, okay, Maya says yes too. So I'm going to cover it. I don't want to give my opinions yet. I want to see the entire evidence. I want to see everyone's evidence. I want to see, I've watched Database Productions videos. I've watched Kumo's live stream yesterday. I took that all in. I'm going to look at Database's Google Doc that he linked in the description. So I'll look at that tonight and go through it. I've seen Queen Seraphina's video. I think Queen Seraphina is going to do a response. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to speak for Queen Seraphina, so I'm not going to speak for her. So if Queen Seraphina does do a response to that, then I will also go over the response. But I want to see the entire evidence entirely. I'm hesitant on covering Database Productions because I've been told behind the scenes, not by art commentary people, so not by Queen Seraphina or anybody, but I've been told behind the scenes that he's unhinged and insane. And I'm a little bit hesitant, but I saw the way that he interacted with Kumo and Enla on a stream yesterday, and he seemed kind of normal. So it kind of eased my mind just a little bit. But yeah, I'm not ready to give my opinion on it, but you're going to see content from me. It's going to get covered. I promise you. Bye, Pudgy. You have a good one.
Having any form of platform is a responsibility.
I feel like if I make an opinion right now, I'm doing everyone an injustice, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm not gonna make my opinion today.
reason to ethically, you are going to be operating in a sphere where you that needs
Oh my god. I hate that
Anything
I hate that his microphone keeps breaking up.
comic monologue. Thank you, Tate. And I've told you that. And I was hoping you'd take it to heart, but you
This is like unwatchable. Literally unwatchable.
Jar, do you have anything to say?
All right, can I be heard?
Yep.
Okay, Vincent. I am quite shocked by this, in all honesty, because like when I first found your channel, you were just starting out, and I really enjoyed the content you made. You seemed like a person with a good head on his shoulders. I tried to give you a boost to your channel so you would grow and grow and grow. I didn't like. I don't think I directly shouted you out in a video, but I do believe I tweeted out some of your stuff, and I made sure to like comment and give them likes.
Okay. So Maya says definitely want to read the Google Doc too, so I could see the cringe ERP and read it and have a good laugh, even though I like adept. LOL. Okay. I also like just going back to the video. I think it's hilarious that like Just a Robot is saying, and this is probably my minor criticism against Just a Robot. Again, guys, please don't unsubscribe from him. Don't unfollow him because I like him. Just a Robot is cool in my eyes. Just because you shout somebody out and you help someone doesn't mean you are entitled to things. So I think it's kind of cringe that he's like, "Hey, you got a boost from me. I shouted you out." It's like, bro, come on. You know how these things work. So you work, okay?
And
You know, sometimes people don't owe their loyalty. I'm different. I owe my loyalty to certain people. But that doesn't prevent me from keeping them accountable. And that doesn't prevent them from keeping me accountable. So I'll receive criticism from people that have shouted me out on their live streams, and I'm okay with that. Yeah.
then your video on me happened, and you were still a very small channel. I didn't want to give you hate, and I wanted to give you the courtesy of showing up into a call, which you ducked for a very long time, and then you finally showed up to it. And that's why I trusted you with this, because I believe there was no bad blood. But apparently you thought I was you felt bitter towards me, and I would like to know exactly how what I did made you feel bitter towards me before I continue. So your turn, Skullman. I mean, not Vincent Skullman.
I became bitter because I had my work taken down, despite it being justifiable in everyone's eyes. It was a mistake on my part that I had to acknowledge it was a mistake. And even though you're right, I was still struggling with the idea, and it left me bitter. So even though you had every
Okay.
right to trust me,
So this is going to be a slight towards Vincent. You know, sometimes you get things wrong. Sometimes you got to do a retraction or backtrack on things. You know, I get things wrong too. We're all human. Nobody is right. But yeah, sometimes we get things wrong, okay? You can't be bitter because somebody is calling you out. You got to learn how to take your lumps. Okay, Jordan.
me and whatever, I failed to uphold that same trust with what followed after.
Like, don't get me wrong. I feel bitter towards people like that creepy reading for getting me to take down a few sections of my daft videos, but I didn't go and lie about him, at least as far as I'm aware. But that all being said, I was like, not only would if Linlin decided to escalate things further, that could have caused me and her to get into. That could have caused her to make another video, which could have caused me to come after her. So, like, even if this is just bitterness towards me, which is a lot.
It's just insane how like these people are so thin-skinned that they're like, if she makes a video about me, I could have gone after her, or she could have gone after me. It's like, come on, guys. Who cares if people make videos on you? Who cares? There's videos about me. Do you see me worrying about what other people say? No. Like, who cares? There are other people in other places to me. I don't know them. They don't have merit in my personal life. Who cares if they make a video?
A lot of bitterness, like over a huge amount of it, like more amount of it. I'm trying to find the words. A bigger amount of bitterness towards me than anyone would reasonably expect for what I did. I did not. Sorry, I'm just a little tired, but I did not think you would risk Linlin's well-being because I also wanted to talk things out with Linlin because Linlin is a small channel. Now, as you can see, me and Linlin talked. Linlin's video is still up. I prefer it if she took it down? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's her video, and I'm just thankful to sit down and talk things out with her. And I was just so surprised when I saw this, and this is something I've been dealing with from the commentary community ever since I started my CO author account. Like when I said someone told me I was on ED, and I said I don't mind, and somehow they took that, spread a lie about me that I claimed it was the best thing to ever happen to me, and it's still happening now, and it's just ridiculous. All I was trying to do was talk things out with you guys instead of having a big public drama, and this is what I get in return. Like, I'm starting to realize why I haven't done this sooner, but I'm going to keep trying to do it because, and by keep trying to do it, I mean talk things out with people because.
Okay, so this is another knock on Just a Robot. Still like him, no big deal. People are going to spin narratives, okay? Go on your own platform and clarify things. If you are so upset that people are spinning narratives, okay? People get things wrong about people. You know, there's like this dumb, stupid bitch named Maggot that gets things wrong about me. And what do? I make videos and correct it.
My well-being is not the only one that matters. Other people's well-being matters as well. And if you've seen the drama I've had with Dual Tones, you can understand how toxic my fan base can be. They will keep attacking someone over and over and over again.
Imagine bragging about how toxic your fan base can be. That's disappointing.
And I did something so out of the goodness of my heart by not responding to anything and try to hash things out in private. And this is
again, I still like Just a Robot. I have to keep stressing it. Okay, this is not a knock on Just a Robot.
This is what I get in return, and it's just shocking.
I just don't like what was said in this call
to me. I don't have anything else to say.
Cringe. Imagine liking Baby's first metal band, Slipknot. I completely agree, dude. Completely agree. You are so based. You're so based, Nani's Moose. You're so awesome.
Do you have anything to say here?
No, apart from no, sorry.
All right, because this is something that I neglected to bring up earlier. I do apologize for making this take longer. But the thing that is,
Kobe O for the $4.99. They got called out by someone. Congratulations. Welcome to the internet where you get called out and hate no matter what. I completely agree, Kobe. You're going to get called out. People are not going to like you. Not everyone's going to like you. You got to learn how to ignore it. Not everyone is going to like you, so it's just whatever.
The thing about this that is most coincidental to be charitable, I'll say, is that it was me that you came to. Now, if we go by this logic of, oh, Jar's civil talking to me made me feel bitter and I wanted to do something to screw him over, like, even if we buy that stupid story for a second, which quite frankly I don't, but I don't really think I'm going to get a satisfactory one, the thing that makes me wonder why you came to me of all people, why isn't it that you came to someone who had a lot more of like a reaching platform than me, like someone who actually has influence in the community to a substantial extent? The reason
because you're dumb, maybe that's why.
I think, now, correct me if I'm wrong, please do correct me if I'm wrong here, but the reason why I think you came to me is because after the way that I was a lot more charitable to you during your situation with Harley than I could have been, because of that, I think that you thought that if this all did go south for you at the end of the day after your hypothetical desired drama ended up going down, you thought I would have your back to some extent because I was there to an extent after you screwed up in regards to Harley as much as you did. But do correct me if I'm wrong on that, I'd love to know.
Oh my God. Why? Why? Dead air. 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 Dead air.
See. I see. Well then, good to know that, quite frankly, before any of this could have gone further, your abhorrently dishonest attempt to use me as an optics tool in order to screw Jar over for one of the most, unironically, the most petty justification for anything like this I have ever seen in this.
Lin, people are going to be petty. If you don't understand that, I'm probably super petty. I will admit I'm petty, okay? If you don't understand that there are petty people out here on the internet, log off.
Community, because someone had a civil discussion with you that caused you to take a video down, which, mind you, it was a video that you weren't even making money off of, so you can't even have that as an excuse. You are, quite frankly, a dishonest man-child, and quite frankly, I don't really have much more to say beyond that, so, Lio, there you go.
Gerard, do you have anything else you want to say?
One last thing, and it just hit me now. We know about what Vincent has said to Linlin about me, but like that's all we know. Like what else is there that we don't know about? Like has Vincent said some other things to other people in the art commentary community? I have no idea. So if we find more, Vincent, if there's more out there, if there's other things you've told people, I would highly recommend coming out now.
Oh my God. Everyone gossips. Literally, everybody gossips. God. Why? Why are we morally grandstanding over gossip? I just don't understand this.
Now, because if we find out about them later, it's going to be a lot worse for you.
Linlin is the only person who I have said anything to regarding Jar. Otherwise, it's just been kept to myself.
Okay, well, I actually believe you, surprisingly, because you actually said that relatively quickly.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Lordy
I'll
Lord.
find out otherwise.
Oh, there goes Lia's
Well, I'll find out.
microphone. Oh, well, find out. Is that a threat, Lio? Is that a threat, you little bitch? Sorry, guys. I'm in a silly mood, okay?
Vincent, I don't want to see behavior like this from you. Because if I do, we're going to have another call.
We're going to have another call, guys. We're going to have another call. Ooh, I'm so scared. Man, if I was Vincent and Lio said we're going to have another call, I'd be like, bring it. Come on, motherfucker. Let's have another call. Let's have a call every day of the week. Let's have a call. Let's fucking talk this out, motherfucker. It is Monday. I am ready. Let's have a call on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Because you have no life. You would rather yell at people in Discord. Lio, Convoy.
I think you know how well my calls don't want that. I genuinely don't. I think that you could do some good. I think you could do better. But whether or not Jar and Linlin choose to forgive you is up to them. You have put a major black mark on yourself. Something really got to.
Oh, you put a major black mark on yourself. Ooh. 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 So scary.
If I can put out a correction on a group of degenerates just because I merely got some things wrong and not be bitter about it.
So what Lio's talking about right there is the Cass War Fox Mafia.
Like, what the heck?
But Lio, you definitely cannot do any kind of corrections. Like, bro, you're fucking lying right here.
One thing I don't do it is lie.
You can't do corrections. In fact, you double down on your apologies. That's how much you can't correct things. So, yeah, okay.
I don't think the bar is set too high for you people. I honestly don't. But somehow you always miss it.
Yeah, I don't think the bar is set high for you either. So anyways, guys, this is just a mess. Let's move on. Let's see what Vince's response is. This is Vince's response clearing things up as of 2 months ago. I guess the reason why Vince felt the need to put out a response was because he saw the stuff that was happening with Lio and he felt the need to say his side of the story. So let's get this over and listen.
This video because I have a lot on my mind that I'm going to try and lay out the best that I can.
Let me make sure you can hear it. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the dead air.
Explaining what actually happened. I don't know whether or not I'll direct all my attention to getting this video up and out, or if it'll end up being vaulted. Like,
let me know if you can hear him, okay? He's kind of quiet. He's a little bit quiet. Ooh, you almost heard my Italian accent come out. A little bit of quiet.
Inside a Skull Mind script I did that was kind of like documenting my burnout and my motivation loss and everything that kind of happened after the fallout, but it doesn't matter now. All I know is that I don't want to sit idle any longer with my untrue
Exactly, Lavishly.
narrative being left over my head, considering I know what truly happened. I don't want to be tied to this lie that I spun any longer. This video is simply to give me some peace of mind, considering I can't look at commentary in general, hear the names involved, or simply remember what the incident was without feeling.
Oh, Max says this feels like shit, exhausting listening to the secondhand, let alone it being directed at me. Are you Vincent? What do you mean by that, Max?
Uneasy at best, if not just shaking uncontrollably or having fluctuations in my breathing at worst, like I had been locked out in the cold despite being in warm environments. Moreover, I don't mean to come out of the woodwork now that the Fruitcake Club has been leaked, but it made everything come rushing back when this tweet came rolling onto my feed.
So I'm aware of it. Crystal Flame's tweet.
From there, I did some browsing of the leaks account, then of Akumu's video where a majority of it was highlighted. But that doesn't matter here. I'm not going to indulge on the details because...
To Crystal Flame! Hi, Crystal.
Well, that's for others to discuss, and as I said in prior videos, I don't want to return to commentary. Besides maybe answering a couple comments or DMs, if necessary, I'll be returning to my horror content soon after, and hoping to finally be able to go on without having to think that this is how I'll be remembered as, because...
Oh, I guess that's why his voice is like that, is because he makes horror content.
Truthfully speaking, I didn't lie to Linlin maliciously.
Speak of the Crystal. Yep. Hey, Crystal. I seriously love Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
When I sent that message, and when Lio instantly turned down my explanation, I panicked before coming up with the most believable alternative. I'll explain it all in due time, but for now I'll go over what actually led up to this, and then the call itself, which happened in the Senate. For the most part, things remain the same, as I would create my video addressing Hallie TBS and Just a Robot's Twitter discourse. Jar would take issue with my video and I'd avoid of having a call with him.
So Crystal says, have Vincent have talked and I explained the tweet, didn't mean to scare him. Oh, okay. So I see. Oh, so that's why he prompted this video, because he was kind of scared. I see.
Only for Lyle to verbally urge me to have that discussion whenever we came into a VC together. This would be usually within Mally Malware or Mally Makes Discord server, since I often hung out in the creative VC chats. Eventually, me and Jar sat down and spoke about the video where I would apologize publicly.
Vader says hi, you guys. He's here. Vader came into my office. Vader, do you want to bark? Bark. He's too tired. He doesn't want to bark. He's getting old. Vader, bark. He says hello.
Before taking the video down, some time passes and Linlin makes their video on Jar, which is when Jar messages me again asking to pass on the
Otan says hi too. He's barking in the background.
Message of what we talked about to Linlin, since the communication between the two of them was non-existent. Now, this is where things change. Without confirming whether the message was accurate to Jar's wishes, I sent it to Linlin and left it at that, not thinking anything of it after the fact, as I had done what was asked, but there was numerous flaws in the message itself, most notably being that I said that Jar would want Linlin's video taken down, which was never the
I gave him pets, guys.
case. I had simply copy and pasted.
He like right now, what he loves to do is Vader will love to lay on top of my feet. It's so cute. He keeps my feet warm Especially when I live stream, he will always lay on top of my feet. He's so silly.
Everything from the call into a message, even if it was a misunderstanding on my end, it doesn't take from the fact it could have caused numerous issues had the two of them not got into contact to talk things over. I am still very apologetic in that regard, as I caused stress for both Just a Robot and Lin over something that could have easily been avoided altogether had I not
So it's great that he's still apologetic. Vince is still like, okay, yeah, I'm still sorry, guys. So still a W.
being hasty, careless, and overconfident in myself. From that message being sent, Laya would add me and basically gave me the equivalent of a court hearing.
I am in your walls for the 5. I love your coverage of this huge drama. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm hoping to segue into different dramas or different rabbit holes, and I hope you continue to love my coverage in different rabbit holes. But thank you. I really appreciate the $5. You're the best. I also like your name. I am in your walls.
Where I would have to come into the Senate to face the music for what I had
Are you, in fact, in my walls? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm silly. Okay. I'll be quiet.
done. Eventually, I requested that the call be moved forwards, and voila. That's how I ended up with the quote-unquote admitting to having gotten bitter and trying to manipulate Lin into starting drama with Just a Robot. As you can see from my real explanation of things, it was a misunderstanding rather than me getting all pissy about being criticised. Really, it doesn't make sense as to why I would have acted out, considering this was all private, and in public I have remained civil when responding to criticism if the comments left under Lin and Doodletone's videos were anything to go by. Even then, during my quarrel with Moomin all that time ago, I tried to use evidence where I could.
So I kind of want to read those comments. Let's read them. Okay, so this is a comment under Lin's video. Vincent Skullman does not understand Harley TBS. So Vincent says, all right, time for a proper response. To say this was a good video of mine is definitely something I wouldn't agree with. Now the video is making process, or the video making process was more or less spurred on those by I had to listen to when making my videos, and certainly propped up on my own bias towards Harley, to the point I wanted to make a video leading to this mixed bag of things. To put it simply, it was a mess, with it being the longest commentary video I have done. There was no preparing me for the strain of actually putting it together, so I got lazy when it came to collecting images and burnt out because it had to keep going, because I had bound myself to a schedule. Not to mention that I was actively avoiding videos Harley had made because at the time I wasn't a fan with how they sounded, which I realized a couple of weeks later was a big fucking issue, but I didn't want to kneecap myself either and left it be. Clips were either cherry picked to prove a narrative or to push a narrative, or weren't fully explained as to why I left such a way regarding to the point, which something I need to work on until I feel something is concrete moving forwards. I mentioned this in another comment, but also despise how self-righteous I sound in these examples, and make me dread how I sound as a whole, because it's a long shot from how I want to frame myself, that being more laid back. I very much appreciate a video such as this because it is from someone I know without bias, but also, yeah, right, okay, yeah, Lin is totally not biased, guys. Ha ha, that's a great joke. But also kept me grounded in the fact that I shouldn't expect everything to fall into place so easily. My overconfidence is clearly showing with how I got a good response from the video and doubled up with my comment response, which landed me in hot water. To those two videos, I am on speaking terms with Harley thanks to Moomin video and can properly apologize for the shit that I have done, which was where mistakes that I could have been avoided, such as downplaying Mr. Sen's transphobia. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my god. So I'm not the only person that thinks Mr. Sen's transphobic. Okay. That's so funny. Mr. Sen catching strays. That's funny. Since I am small, there's plenty of room to grow. So I hope those stick around and can offer support, whether criticism or not, to keep me from becoming someone uh undeserving of a platform.
Left under Linlin and Doodletone's videos were
Okay, and then this is Doodletones' comment, or this is Vincent's comment. I'm coming to the conclusion that a lot of my older videos are jumbled messes. I'm doing I'm doing a half time comment like I did with Linlin's video because it's hard to listen to myself chat a whole load of nothing, and you've already exacerbated the video's cracks and leave it to a pointless hole. Not that I'm complaining, because I definitely simplified the creators at the beginning down into groups where a majority of them were where a majority of them are also present everywhere, like Pyrocynical does both essay com and real com. Oh, essay commentary and real commentary. And I failed to mention the overlap. I failed to mention it for anyone, as you pointed out. And then when I get into my first point, it's just full gaps where I forgot to add common sense, and it can't differentiate from gender to creator, or genre to creator, to add more confusion to the pot, and then just up and forget about the point I'm supposed to be arguing, for which is pointed out when called back to. When called back to. Okay, that sounded weird. I'll add underneath this comment once I finish watching, but I'll be dragging myself kicking and screaming when faced with my own crying. Okay.
anything to go by.
So those are the comments.
Even then, during my quarrel with Moomin all that time ago, I tried to use evidence where I could to support my arguments, rather than just make stuff up. Obviously, the whole raid thing was an idiotic notion to follow, but I only went with it because I thought I had evidence from an irrefutable source. What a fool I was, and a shame I took so long to pull out of it. But now I'm gonna have to unpack that call if I want to bury this for good, which isn't going to be fun.
So I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, Vincent, because you say you had evidence from an irrefutable source, and you're being hard on yourself. You know, sometimes there are times as a creator where you get like pieces of evidence, right? And you feel like the person that is giving you that piece of evidence or providing you that piece of evidence verified it, and it's a solid piece of evidence. But then sometimes it's not solid, and the person had some kind of ulterior motive into pushing this evidence towards you. It is on you to verify the validity of the evidence. It's on you. And it's on you as a creator to not trust sources naturally. So although somebody is telling you something and showing you something, you can't take their word seriously, because sometimes people could be lying to you. And as a creator, you learn that as you move on, as you build and build and build. Okay? I've learned that lesson this week, actually. I learned it this week. And yeah, sometimes it's a learning curve. You just go and you learn this as a creator and as you push out more content. So don't be too hard on yourself. Louder for the back row, Leah. Oh, thank you. Is it loud? Is the audio okay, guys? Or is it too quiet? Is it too quiet? That might be a joke. That might be a joke flying past my head. No audio. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Now, a couple things of note before I actually get into this call.
I think that was a joke. I've loved the stars too fondly. I think I missed your joke. I'm so sorry. I'm telling you, you can tell me a joke and it'll fly past my head. I don't get it. I'm horrible with jokes. Really horrible. Like there's a few of the managers that I work with at work, they'll tell me a joke and they think it's like a super funny joke and they want to impress me, right? They tell me a joke, they want to impress me, and they're like, oh, yeah, Leah's going to laugh with this one. And I don't laugh. Literally, it flies past my head. And I have to keep telling the managers, I'm horrible with jokes, guys. I was saying keep on telling people to check their info and facts. Yes. Okay. Well, W, that's it. That's a good take. I love the stars too fondly. I'm sorry I didn't get your initial message. I'm such a loser. L. Leah, tomatoes in the chat for me, okay? Ugh.
Is that I wasn't offered for this matter to be resolved in private regarding a four-way call similar to what Lin, Jar, and Lio had if the start of
Yeah, Tony, thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Their video is anything.
I'm so silly. I'm silly, guys.
To go off of. Maybe it's because of how I acted during the call with Algrim, Skull, and Moomin, but I wasn't really told why it had to be there, or given an option to do it privately either. Though the reason I bring this up is because Lio knew, A, I was shit scared of him, and B, I have some social issues. The latter getting worse the more people present, let alone who the individuals may be themselves.
You get what?
Confirmed.
I get one tomato as a treat. Okay.
Such.
So I do get where Vincent is saying, he was intimidated by Lio and he has social issues. I have noticed a pattern of behavior where it's actually, no, that's a bad word to say. It's not really specifically a pattern of behavior, so ignore what I just said. It's a general consensus of people where I've noticed when they are talking to Lio in these Senate calls, they are specifically very intimidated because, one, Lio's intimidating. Lio likes to play up that intimidation factor. He doesn't like to downplay it at all. That guy is like a megalomaniac. He's not going to downplay it. He wants to make sure that he's the badass that he is, right? Because he has a tiny dick, right? Lyle played it up, but then it's also a ton of people in the peanut gallery listening in on the call. So I do get where people are feeling intimidated by those Senate calls. So, and again, it's just not with Vincent that I'm witnessing this behavior of. It's also from lots of people. It's also, I'm witnessing it or observing it from lots of the calls that I'm listening to specifically.
With my call with Jar, which, to my surprise...
like, one of them is Crimson Mayhem. So, like, Crimson Mayhem had a call with Lio, and Crimson Mayhem was having a hard time speaking in that call because he was intimidated. Or there was the call that I just listened to today. There was a certain individual in there as well that was intimidated. Or Rosa Ray Ramsey, she was intimidated. Who else? Not really Jax. Jax wasn't intimidated. I don't know who else, but there again, it's a general consensus of people.
Which recorded without me being made aware, but then also shown to who knows how many people after the fact.
Jar had a civil conversation with you, and before you try to lie to me, yes, I did hear it. I did listen to it.
Jar didn't tell me he was going to do so when I went into that one-on-one call, not even considering that potentially happening. I wasn't exactly feeling all that put together after it was revealed, let alone the anxiety I was already feeling when joining in the call and seeing everyone come rolling in. If that wasn't bad enough, then I
Okay, so he's anxious. Vincent's anxious, and he was just this call was just kind of plopped on him. So, I'm understanding when it comes to that. You know, there are lots of times me having OCD. I have OCD. God, I just said that twice. I have OCD. And as a manager, sometimes I get pulled into meetings where I don't mean to get it. I wasn't invited to the meeting, or I needed to be in that meeting because somebody higher up was asking for me in that meeting. Always irks me whenever I have to drop everything that I'm doing and join that specific meeting. And not only when I join that specific meeting at work, but it's just like plopped into my lap. So I feel kind of disorganized when I have to speak on certain topics and I don't have my notes right out in front of me. Or let's say I have a file on my desk and I need to get it at my desk, but my boss is asking for certain things in this meeting. That's another issue. So I do get where Vincent is coming from on that,
got scolded.
especially with his anxiety. Like I said, for me, it's not as much anxiety ridden. It's more OCD kind of thing.
For leaking private DMs to Linlin via a document I was given, which confused me considering such logic could be reflected back onto Jar for leaking a call we had where I gave no permission for him to do so.
Okay, so if Jar in fact leaked a call, nah, I don't like that. I do not like leaking calls. Okay, don't like it. You get permission from the person before you send out the call.
Thankfully, at least I can take reference from an archive video of the call to demonstrate where things went awry. Apologies if I'm hard to understand throughout the call. This was back when I had my snowball and barely knew how to use it.
Is because Linlin has a right to know and to confront you. I want to know, why did you objectively lie to Linlin?
So I disagree with Lio right there saying objective. It's very subjective. You don't know whether he objectively lied, Lio, because you don't know his intentions. So you can't use the word objectively like that. Nuh-uh. That's not how that works. Super Disney fan says, "Hey Leo, what did I miss?" So right now we are going over a response. We went over a call that happened between Vincent, Linlin, and Lio. And in this call, there was drama that occurred between Linlin, Just a Robot, and Vincent. And Lio decided to put himself in the middle. And we are now listening to Vincent's response of that call.
I flat out lied to Linlin because I was supposed to relay a message from Jar to them and completely misunderstood what was meant to be passed over to Linlin due to my own incompetence.
Here's the thing.
This is
What was that?
where everything falls apart. So far, I have been truthful and upfront despite how little time has passed, and outright stated why I had been summoned on this occasion, only for it to be
Yeah, that was a jump scare.
cast aside with the implication of lying instead. Lio reads off my messages that I had with
That was not me, guys. That was the video.
Jar, and how he wanted me to relay what the call I had with him was about, whilst I showed hesitance. Real hesitance, not like
Let me just see if it happens further in the video, because I don't want that to surprise us again. Because sometimes that's triggering to people. I don't think it does happen. I don't see it, so yeah, it's fine.
oh, I don't want to be involved, whilst rubbing my hands together like some sort of villain. Obviously, you'll have to take Lyle's spoken word as fact here, considering I purged my Discord DMs of anything commentary related and haven't got anything to show as a result. Unless I can get them back in some way, you'll have to bear with me until I can find out how to.
So Super Disney fan says Leah, and this isn't the first time that Lio yelled at girls like Rosa and Jibs. There was an individual named Delilah who occurred in FNGR's videos a couple of times. Really? Really? That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up. Delilah. I'll start asking around about that because I'd be interested.
Retrieve them, or someone lets me know how.
Yeah, Vincent did add a jump scare.
After that, he reads out my message to Lin, which we've covered prior, and I'm left scrambling as to what I can respond with. A quick edit I want to make is I managed to get back the screenshot thanks to Linlin's second video on myself, which shows most of what was discussed. As you may be able to tell, that
This happened in 2020, believe it or not. Oh, that's interesting.
message was me more or less wanting a peaceful out.
Do you have a Twitter account, Super Disney? You got a Twitter account? If you do not, email me if you have any of the links to like these videos that you're describing. If you don't have a Twitter, email me. With if you have any links, okay? I'm not but if you don't have anything, that's okay. I'll still ask around.
Outcome for the two, considering how I spoke about it. Hell, anything past the first sentence.
Oh, okay. Thank you, John.
This is me more or less uncertain as to why I was relaying the events of my call with Jar, since I felt ill-fitted to do so when looking at the broader range of topics that were brought up in Linlin's critique of Jar. Sure, there was the Twitter stuff, but it would have made more sense for him to try and get in contact, as they later did, whilst cutting me out entirely. I understand me being involved with us.
I do get where Vincent is coming from. Why did Just a Robot specifically go to Vincent on the actions of Linlin? He could have just gone directly to Lio and said, "Hey, I have an issue with Linlin," or "Hey, Linlin, I have this issue."
Bad job.
I do not understand why Vincent was involved. Yes, I agree with Vincent on that.
Some time from going back over things that were formally discussed already. But had he done it himself, then it could have potentially have provided clarity, which I lacked if Linlin had pressed on certain aspects. My supposed bitterness.
Weren't they blocking each other at that time? I'm not quite sure. That could be a possibility. They had each other blocked. Possibly.
Doesn't fit in with the part where I mentioned my hope that everything would calm down with Jar, considering their mention of hate being lackluster to begin with, and seems to be a knee-jerk assumption that Linlin would face backlash. Besides everything else that transpired between the three of us, nothing bad actually came from the video itself. The only reason I made mention of Jar potentially making some kind of response to Linlin's video is down to this screenshot where he says the following: "They are young, so I want to handle this privately. I'd rather not send them mountains of hate that they aren't able to handle." To me, it sounded like he would have done something if it wasn't addressed, though the lack of specification certainly makes it hard to tell if it would have been something like a tweet, a community post, or a video, besides being some sort of public act, since it would have generated hate. In my mind, if I tried telling Lio again that this was just a big misunderstanding and that I had been too eager to end the matter with my message, I knew for certain that he would either start to grow irritated or start shouting.
That's a very correct observation. Normally, when Lio doesn't get the correct answer, he's going to further escalate, especially if it's an answer that he doesn't like specifically. Especially if it's an answer that's not to his standards, morals, or principles. So I do agree with what Vincent is saying here too.
neither of which I wanted to deal with, considering his reputation regarding this whole bad cop thing and yelling at people to get them to fall in line.
So Timmy Dog or Timey Dog, I'm so sorry if I butcher your name. I apologize. Why not ignore it, Jar? You do make a good point. Vincent could have not Vincent had the choice of not even responding to Just a Robot in the first place. He could have ignored it. Yeah. You make a good point right there. And that's a slight towards Vincent, so I don't disagree with that criticism.
And like he's done to most people who got dragged into the Senate call. And thus, I lied. My mind was already in so much of a mess that if Lio had started to yell at me in the darkness of my room, as this was at 1 a.m., in front of a crowd of people who may watch me or once looked upon me in a good light, I think
He was grifting. He wasn't going to ignore it. Okay. He was grifting hard for the Senate and with Harley Linlin and was being used to fight me and Moomin. Oh, that's interesting. That's great that you shed background on that. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I would have literally broken down. I was more willing to play along with this fake narrative of being bitter than actually admit the truth, because despite everything, I don't feel like I could speak the truth in his presence. That's why I went from being compliant and answering easily to being more vague and slow to respond, because I had to pray that my story was believable enough to escape such a fate without just
Spilled milk. Lio is such a Karen. Jesus fucking Christ. I agree. He is a Karen. He's like, yeah, he's a total Karen.
leaving the call randomly. I didn't want to be labelled anything else besides that which was spoken by my own mouth. That's why Linlin could so easily pick up on my rambling and easily call it out when asked what the outcome was expected to be from
Correction. This was in regards to what the expected outcome was regarding starting drama between the both of them.
manipulating them.
Well, given how it seems that at this point these responses amount to little more than word salad that doesn't really bring us anywhere further, I'll pass it back to Lio now.
I had no answer and wasn't able to say that I wanted them both to crash because it wasn't part of the narrative I could sit well with. Not to mention the clashing of appearing like a bastard when I still enjoyed being around either party. With how Jar would often say that I had the potential to be a good commentary channel, but I didn't want to spoil that considering his status and past.
Joy Daly says, even with the voice changer, Linlin doesn't sound 15 to me. Yeah. I don't know why they use a voice changer. I really wish that they wouldn't. Linlin now, as of right now, is 18 years old. And I think the time this happened, they were 17.
Experience, so I assumed he actually saw real potential. I trusted in his word that I could be good.
No, you're okay, Joy. It's totally cool.
And at times
Isn't Linlin trans? I think so. Like I give her she pronouns, so I think she's trans. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I don't want to assume it. I just associate she with them. Yes, Linlin is trans. Okay, then Linlin is trans.
it motivated me, but it's obviously off the table now. When it came to Linlin, they were just cool to chill out with because of their humour or the fact we both had stuff we were in the know about and could discuss such. Even with the videos criticising me, I knew it came from a place of wanting to see me improve, and I tried where I could. Such an old tweet kind of proved so.
So I belong in the Binman, or Lin's tweeted, I hate to toot my own horn here, but the situation surrounding Vincent Skullman, Harley TBS, and myself recently low-key has me feeling optimistic about the future of the community for once. Oh my God.
But here, looking back, I was a coward who just took on the shape of a villain to appease someone, and it cost me so much. Friends or acquaintances, motivation, mental health.
Oh, I think for the reason for the voice changer is anonymity. Ah, okay. I see. Okay, well, yeah, I get it. Like, I can't show, well, I don't want to, but I want to, guys. I just can't. I can't show my face on camera, because I'm, um, in upper management at the company I work for, and I could, yeah, it's not that I could possibly be fired. It's the fact that I represent the company 24/7 all the time, and I have that expectation. So, yeah. So I get that they're trying to be anonymous.
And who knows what else. Not to say I didn't do wrong. We've certainly gone over
Oh, Max also says voice changer because gender dysphoria. Possibly. Maybe they don't like their voice, the sound of their voice. I get it.
the fact that I could have caused serious damage with my message had Linlin gone ahead and believed it as fact, but there were better ways of diffusing the situation than berating me in front of a bunch of randoms all over one message that had no real evidence to show it was coming from a hostile place. You know, for those who were probably saying, well, why didn't you ask to move this to a private environment? Or why didn't you ask to reschedule at a time where you'd be able to do it privately? Or
How could you find someone's identity through voice alone? So somebody that is familiar with them could could possibly identify them on the internet. So maybe somebody in their personal life, maybe someone in their personal life, or maybe they don't want somebody in their personal life knowing that they make content. So that could be a possibility.
I need you to understand
But that's a good question to ask, Sleepy. I appreciate that question.
that I do not do well with authority because I was raised to never defy it, and if someone holds some kind of power above me, then I'll likely fold unless a differing factor comes into play. I learned this from my father, and even now I'm made to grit my teeth and help do whatever the fuck because I can't say no. It just isn't in my brain to decline or reason. I do as told, lest I be punished for not being compliant. That's
Okay, so this is going to be a knock on Vincent. You have to learn how to establish boundaries. You have to learn how to be able to say no. And if you do not know how to say no to people, that's your fault. That's nobody else's fault. So I'm not going to put that against Lio or Linlin or Just a Robot. You have to be able to say your boundaries. You have to be able to say no to people because sometimes people will push their boundaries.
the mindset I take into every scenario where it applies. And the fucked up thing, in this scenario, I just folded and told Lio what he wanted to hear. It ends up basically voiding a majority of the call now, considering I was giving false answers to questions that have no basis when my lie was...
Hi, maybe. So what we're going over is Vincent's response to a call that took place between him, Lio, Linlin, and Just a Robot. And in that call, Linlin, Just a Robot, and Vincent all had drama existing between them. And the perception of the perception at the time of the call was that Vincent was being deceitful and lying to Linlin, a minor, and in regards to Just a Robot, and in regards to a video that Linlin made. And Lio took it upon himself to morally grandstand against Vincent and also yell at Vincent and also I don't want to not really yell. It was a high energy conversation. Let's just say that high energy conversation towards Vincent, and Vincent felt the need to comply with what Lio was saying because he was intimidated and he was anxious, and so now he came out with the truth as of 2 months ago. He came out with the truth and really explained how he felt with that call that took place. We already went through the call, so we're just going over what Vincent's thoughts are.
removed from the equation. Throughout my limited time as a commentary channel, I never talked behind someone's back, never plotted to take an associate down, and never manipulated anyone to do my dirty work. As far as I can remember, I barely spoke to any other creators in private besides having one-off conversations with most, if not using VCs to communicate with others in the same circle. I think there are like 2 instances where I've had repeated conversations in DMs with other creators, of which being Mally Makes and Harley TBS. The former was mostly just small talk and encouragement, whilst the latter was simply for their own gain, as it didn't seem to matter if I sent a casual message or one where I could ask for their help, as I never got a response to those. I understand they were a busy person, but it's just how if it was to spread claims with weak evidence or to congratulate me on posting a video going at one of their detractors, by all means, Harley would.
Okay, so I'm gonna push back on Vincent on this take right here. Harley, just because Harley doesn't respond to you doesn't mean that Harley's interactions with you are self-fulfilling. He's a bigger creator. There are, when you get bigger, there are going to be lots of smaller creators that message a bigger creator and ask for advice. Okay. So maybe he saw your DMs and acknowledged it, but didn't respond because he didn't have the time or he didn't want to. You're not entitled to a response just because you get a DM. Just a heads up. Mage of Demise says, honestly, I feel like this is a bit of a cop out. The DM's publicly known. So it's definitely the truth that he, at the very least, took a lot of liberty with the truth. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't, if you can find me the DMs, that would be really great.
Would be there to pat me on the back and tell me I was doing a good job, despite the outcome which awaited
But we will take that into consideration. Hey, Bruce.
me. Fucking
Bruce, I still got to talk to you. I missed our conversation this week. This weekend. I apologize.
whatever.
I'm at work, so it'll be a bit. I'll email you once you got it. Okay, great. Thank you, Mage. I really appreciate it. I'll go over it next live stream. But here's my email just in case. leahsomething222@gmail.com. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're keeping me sane while I contribute free capitalism. W.
Guess that's all I was good for in the end. Having to go back and listen to the call may have made me nauseous and shake like I'm in the electric chair, but at least I can try to find my peace with all of this now that my truth is out there. Just so it is known, I never hated Just a Robot, never hated or tried to...
What's up, Jordan? What's going on? Leah, if I can learn anything from Baby Reindeer, is that Italian? What do you mean?
manipulate Linlin. I just couldn't state my truth because of the situation and the potential consequences which loomed overhead if I attempted to do so. I was somehow able to rationalize cannibalizing myself and losing nearly all of my ties to what I had built just to avoid the fury of someone who assumed the worst of me and would much more happily throw me out to be a spectacle instead of even considering whether or not this should be done behind closed doors. I get that the Senate is where you drag the scum to be kicked around for trying to do this or that, but it is just a medieval trial at this point from what I have seen of recent time.
So Lio does admit himself that the Senate was very what's it called? I don't want to say mediocre. Shit. I'm blanking. But it was very blood for blood, okay? So Lio already acknowledges that.
It's no wonder it's falling
Yeah, I guess toxic is a good word.
apart now, and people are seeing it for the bully fest that it has become. I never really agreed with it to begin with.
Mundane? I think I'm using that word. Mundane, maybe, possibly. Barbarian. Barbarian's a good word. Yes, barbarian. Thank you. Thank you guys for helping me. Barbarian.
Considering how it just didn't feel right. Like,
Lio acknowledges that the Senate was very barbaric.
it lacked professionalism when you understand what they're trying to achieve, and after experiencing it firsthand, I can see why it would lose credit. As of now, it is a shitstorm, what with Lio getting called out for something or another, and Hopeless Peach is getting dragged out amongst her peers.
Let me pause because I saw a comment earlier that was interesting. John Williams says just a robot has an actual reasonable motive to give Lio a chance because Lio helped stop the lies. Chaos was spreading that Jar was a PDF and was responsible for someone to unalive themselves. Yes, I definitely do agree with that, John Williams. W. That's a good comment right there. Thank you.
Peers for being less than holy, being exposed as an enabler for people who to post porn around minors without coming forward sooner, and that's despite what they tried to flaunt in their videos. Maybe I'm just being bitter for real this time, but I don't have sympathy to spare for them considering they couldn't do their job in a low stakes situation. Again, I won't be returning to commentary at all, but I'll be watching from the sidelines now like I used to before I made my channel, thinking I knew better than I did. To think I was so close to leaving it all behind on a peaceful note as well, considering my patience for trying to make it all work had run out. But I suppose if there is a wrench, it is bound to be thrown into the works. I'm not going to actively...
Jordan says, if I learn anything from Baby Reindeer is that you need to say no to people and not allow them to walk over your boundaries because the wrong person will break them all. Yes. Yeah, you got to be able to say no.
engage besides saying one thing here or there if I come across it, but honestly that's for the best considering how fucking unstable commentary is, since one person can look solid only for one thing to come out about them to have it all up in smoke. You like watching Miss Easy? Oh shit, she's a fucking weirdo. You like watching...
Definitely a weirdo, I agree. They're definitely predatory.
Theft King? Oh, he's a little crybaby bitch. You like watching... Like, you get
I don't know about Theft King. I might have to look into
the
that.
point. You're better off warming the bench than partaking. At the end of it all, I appreciate those who have heard me out and can potentially understand that there was a mistake in how this was handled. I wholeheartedly know that I could have at least tried, but fear negated my attempt to do so. It's one of the reasons I ain't yapping about who is doing what now. I'm just not cut out for it, considering all it takes is for an old, angry man to pick an issue with me for things to start going south. If this does reach those of whom I once interacted with, or those who were once subscribed, I hope to establish a new connection that is free of what happened in the past, and you can come to see that my content is now less about drama and more about something I deeply care about, which is horror. You've done more than enough regardless by listening, so I understand if that's what you wish to call it once again, but otherwise I'm going to be here to listen once more. Hopefully keeping it together now.
Okay, so final thoughts are, you know, it sucks the way that Vincent was treated. It sucks the way that Vincent was treated, right? I get where Vincent is coming from because I do see the things that Vincent is describing where Lio is specifically intimidating when it comes to calls like that. And yes, the Senate was very barbaric. I think it's interesting that Lio's willing to bend one of the rules or one of the age rules for Linlin, all because there's drama and oh my God, yeah, let's invite this minor to the Senate Discord because there's drama and I got to settle this drama. Lio is one perception that I have of Lio is that Lio is more than happy to go onto these calls and yell at people. He even takes it to the point where he's yelling at people while driving. He's definitely a terminally online kind of person. I think it's very hilarious that Lio will go out and ridicule Kato for making a spreadsheet of how much Miku month costed, and it says Kato is terminally online when Lio has like these kind of calls. And then not only that, Lio is also admitting in this call with Vincent that he has had enough 3-hour Discord calls confronting people. So it's like, it's super hilarious. Not only that, but there were a ton of leaks that were after the Lio response video that happened a few weeks ago. There were 2 particular Q&A Discord calls that were leaked and posted on the internet. And in one of those Discord calls was in the Supreme Court. And when the Supreme Court took place, Lio was in the Q&A Discord, but then Lio said that he would be taking accountability or taking account of all the people that wronged him. So he seemed to kind of personalize himself with people that left the Senate when Peaches and Lumi put out their statements and all hell broke loose in the Senate, and that he was taking accountability of those people or taking account of those people. So Lio is very much terminally online. He can't swallow his pride for shit. And it's interesting to see this call. Next week, or probably, no, I don't think it's going to be next week. I think I'll make a video about this sometime later on in the week. There will be a call that I react to where Lio is yelling at someone while he's driving, literally while he's driving. And it's going to be interesting to react to that and see it. But yes, Lio did in fact yell at someone in a Discord call while driving. Texas highways are already crazy, but that is